Okay, now let's shift our focus from using built-in functions to user-defined functions. That means we are going to create our own functions. Now, I'm sure you will remember this particular problem. To find the greatest of three numbers. Okay, then we have already seen this, but it was a straightforward thing. But here we are going to use a user-defined function. Okay, so include iostream.h hash include conio.h void main. Okay, now int. Okay, we are going to provide a declaration for the user defined function. So it is going to return a int, and the name of the function is biggest, and it's going to require three parameters being passed. Now this declaration is also called the function prototype. Okay, so now we are going to declare some variables a comma b comma c comma big. Okay, clear scr. Now let's actually accept these three values. So cout, enter the three numbers. Okay, scene a b c. Okay, so three numbers being accepted. Now we pass these three numbers to the we call the function, right? We say big is equal to biggest, and we pass these three variables. Okay, and remember it's going to return a int type of variable, and that will be stored in big. Okay, and naturally now that we have the biggest number, we need to display it. Okay, cout biggest number is okay big and end line. Okay, get ch. Okay, so now we need to define the user defined function. So int, we are going to accept it into x, the first parameter, int y, second parameter, int z in the third parameter. Okay, so now int big. All right, we are going to create a define new variable, declare a new variable. Remember, this is a different variable than the one that has been used here in the main function. This is separate, and this is, so here the scope of this is this function, and the scope of this is this function. Okay, so now big is equal to okay x greater than y. If x greater than y, then x, if x is greater than z, then x, otherwise z. Okay, otherwise, now this is a little bit tricky. If y is greater than z, then y, otherwise z. Okay, and now we return what? Remember, this function is supposed to return a int type, so we are going to return big. Okay, so let's just run it and see what happens. Okay, let's enter 4 1 and 6. Biggest number is 6. Great. Let's run it again. 23, 56, 12, 56. Okay, let's run it again. Now let's make the first one as the biggest. Okay, right. Now let's make the last one as the biggest. So, right. So in each of the cases is. Now here the trickiest part is this particular statement. Now here you have to look at this. If x is greater than y, so because of this question mark, it is a if statement. So if x is greater than y, now after the question mark, there has to be two separate outputs. That means two separate expressions. One is if it is true, and the other one if it is false. So here, if it is true, that means if x is greater than y, then instead of just saying true or false, we are going to again make a check. If x is greater than z, right? So which means what? X is greater than y and x is greater than z. In that case, x is the biggest. Now, if x is greater than y and x is not greater than z, then naturally z is the greatest. Okay. Similarly, if x is not greater than y and y is greater than z or z, then y is the greatest. If x is not greater than y and y is not greater than z, then z is the greatest. Okay, so just go through it. If you want me to do it slightly differently, then if you want to do in a much more simpler way, then it would go something like this. If x is greater than y, right? True. If x is greater than z, then big is equal to x, right? Else x big is equal to z. Okay. Now else if else means here what? X is not greater than y. So again we check. If y is greater than z, then in that case big is equal to y. Else big is equal to z. Okay, so here this whole series of statements and this one single statement, both are equivalent. So let's comment it out and let's see whether it is working properly or not. So 23, 67, 34. So 67. Great. Now let's make the first one as the largest. Okay, so 67. Now let's make the second one as the largest. Okay, now let's make last one as the largest. All right, so as you noticed, this whole series of statements and this one single statement, both are equivalent. So you can choose to use any one of them. Hardcore programmers love this, but purely from readability point of view, this is much better. Okay, let's keep this and let's make this whole series of statement as comment. Let's comment it out. Okay, right? So that is our first user defined function. Okay, now let's save this. Let's save this as biggest. Okay, and let's quit.